And welcome back to our roundtable. Staying with us, President of Good Friend Government Affairs, David Goodfriend, and Republican strategist Ford O'Connell. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. So let's talk about women's magazines. You guys ready for this?
Yep.
All right. The media craze over presidential candidate Hillary Clinton is fueled by one big question. Why is Hillary not talking? Well, it turns out she doesn't have to, because John's always been asking this question. Politico reviewed a collection of women's magazines like Vogue and Elle over the past few months, and it looks like they've been swooning over the former First Lady. Actually, Chief Editor Marie Claire even said they're thrilled Hillary is in the race. Ford, are magazines doing all the campaigning for Hillary?
Understand something. Hillary's target voters, unmarried women under 50. And of unmarried women, 72% pay little or no attention to politics. But yet, 53 million of them actually read Hearst magazines, which are basically Marie Claire, Vogue, and Elle. So guess what? This is exactly how she's going to get out the vote. And she doesn't need to go deep. All she needs is fluff stories about feminism and powerful women. And let me tell you something, this is going to write itself for Hillary Clinton.
But I don't understand why these magazines are so in the tank for Hillary already. I know these viewers, they're very, they're pretty much obsessed with Hillary Clinton, the first female president here. But I just don't understand.
I mean, isn't that, okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah, but this isn't what niche and luxury media are about. Their whole point is to continue talking.
But we have a case, I think it was.
But isn't it better?
I think it was Cosmopolitan magazine who was actually taking female voters with shirtless men to the polls to vote on certain issues.
What would you rather have on there?
The
Lindsay
midterms.
Lohan, though, and Kim Kardashian? I mean, isn't it better that they're
Guys,
actually
let me say one thing before David pops in. I've written extensively on this, and Democratic pollster Celinda Lake backs me up on every single point I just made.
There you go.
Ford is right. David, go ahead.
David, go.
Let me jump in here. First of all, woe be to the politician who underestimates the power of women's magazines, okay? Because as long as you want to connect with readers, just go to the grocery store. What you see on the racks at every checkout counter in America are a lot of these magazines. So the penetration to the key audience is phenomenal. I don't care what the platform is. It's just a very good way to connect with a very key demographic in politics. Now, why are the magazines interested? Well, it's not just about the fact that Hillary Clinton would be the first female president. That's important, but it's not as important to women voters, I believe, as some of the absolutely key bread and butter issues like minimum wage, like family leave, like choice. These are things
David, you're spinning a yarn. That is nonsense. These things don't dive into this. They're liberal cheerleaders who are bought and sold for, and basically
but don't you think
Republicans
that's a little condescending to these same? Don't you think that's a little bit? Don't you think that's a little bit condescending to these same women voters who Hillary's trying to court here? Maybe if she has this platform, she should use them to highlight the points that David just talked about.
Well, that would be great, but guess what? No one wants to read that. They want to read about the Kardashians. This is our TMZ, HBO, ESPN society, and for unmarried women, guess what? That's just how it is. They don't like politics. They don't follow it. They want to feel good, and they want to feel emotional, and that's what these magazines do.
All right.
Well, I would submit that condescending attitude you just heard is why Hillary's going to win. Because the Republicans, the men...
But let me say this. I'm just repeating the poll numbers. I wouldn't actually say that if I were the candidate.
Guys, we want to pick this topic back up. We'll have to have you back. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We got to go. We want to thank you both for being with us, and plenty more to get to. I'm sure there'll be more women's magazines to talk about in the next time we have Ford.
I look forward to it, as
back.
I'm sure you do as well.
All right. Before we take another commercial break, something special for our viewers. Callista Gingrich sat down with Newsmax TV to talk about the importance of the Bill of Rights.
The framers of the United States Constitution recognized the need to be able to amend it, and did so with the first 10 amendments, known as the Bill of Rights. But the founders also wanted it to be difficult to change the Constitution, and devised a two-step process of proposing and ratifying amendments. Amendments are first proposed by a two-thirds vote of Congress, or by a convention of at least two-thirds of the states. Proposed amendments must then be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Since the original 10 amendments, 17 additional amendments have been ratified. Most of the additional amendments resulted in the expansion of civil rights and historic changes for our country. The 13th Amendment, for example, abolished slavery, and the 15th Amendment guaranteed the right to vote, regardless of race. The 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote, and the 21st Amendment repealed the 18th, which prohibited the manufacture or sale of alcohol. Other amendments created the federal income tax and limited presidential terms to 2. The 27th and last amendment passed in 1992. It prevented Congress from giving themselves pay raises during their current term. Today, members of Congress propose around 100 amendments to the Constitution each year, but most never reach the floor for a vote. I'm Callista Gingrich, and this is Let Freedom Ring on Newsmax TV.
Big history buff here, and I just heard, Sally, I think that Disney was going to have plans to do an American history themed park. And I think that would have been cool, but I think they recently scrapped their plans. Maybe that was a fake story. We'll have to check it out. Real or fake coming up later this week.
Sounds good.
We're back with more right after this.